Hey friends, welcome to day number 2 of our masterclass. So I am Carrie Leonardini here, the owner and founder of Strong and Fit Mom Coaching. Thank you for joining me today. I love the interaction yesterday in our conversation around the number one mistake most women are making in their weight loss journey in their 40s. We talked about yesterday how not having a specific plan, fitness plan to get you those results you're after, right? Vague actions lead to vague results, and we're after specific results, right? We want to drop body fat, we want to trim down that tummy, we want to see definition, and we want to feel flipping amazing in and about our bodies, right? Can I get an amen? So yesterday was really talking about how can you course correct, right? And the importance of having a specific plan and the components of a effective fat loss plan, right? That's going to drop the body fat as well as build a strong, fit, and healthy body. So we gave you some feedback on that yesterday, some tangible steps that you could take. So if you did not get a chance to watch that yet, you can go back. Definitely go watch that while the replay is still available. There's some good nuggets in there for you. So it was a great conversation around what you're doing. Heidi, give a shout out to you, girl. You're writing everything down, which I love because we are successful. When you write it down, like you're already successful. You're putting pen to paper and you are taking action. So I want to give you a big kudos for that. And today we're talking about the second mistake I see most women are making in their 40s when it comes to losing weight. And that really is having a lack of understanding or a lack of strategy around the right nutrition to meet your body's needs in this current season. Now, we talked a little bit about how our bodies are shifting and changing as we are entering into our 40s and beyond. Our estrogen, our progesterone are lowering, which means where our body fat is being added and kept and distributed is usually right in the midsection. Okay. And that's where all of our vital organs are, the majority of them. Therefore, the body will hold fat there to protect. And we get that visceral fat. Now, visceral fat is normal, but an excess amount of that can be very dangerous. It is linked to a lot of different diseases, and we want to not have that, right? So, what can we do about it? We can't necessarily have more estrogen and progesterone naturally. Sometimes you might have to look into hormone replacement, other supplementation. A lot can be done, though, through food and through exercise. Okay, and so that's why I really want to focus on the holistic approach. But definitely know there's other resources out there when it comes to the hormones that you can look into. I definitely encourage everybody to do their research and to find what's the best fit for you. Now, I personally use and love doTERRA. I use a lot of their essential oils and some of their supplements when it comes to balancing my hormones. And I'm talking about the estrogen and progesterone part of that. And I have found by being consistent with that, I have less mood swings. My body is regulating because I did go through that what is going on phase of like, how am I gaining weight? What's happening? And it was really frustrating. I knew what to do, but I wanted to go jump to all those quick fixes because I'm like, I want this to go away until I realized and accepted this is part of the journey and it's allowing my body to adapt and to work with it versus against it so my body can regulate. And that's what's happening. So I want to share some of that with you. And nutrition plays a huge, huge role in fat loss and allowing your effort in the gym or at your home gym to be displayed, to actually see it, to get the muscle, right? Like we want to see our hard work pay it off. And nutrition is 80% of your fat loss journey. 80%. So whether you are nursing an injury, you are finding that it's been challenging to get dedicated exercise in on a regular basis, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to gain weight. Oh my gosh. Well, one thing I'll say is this. If you keep telling yourself you're going to gain weight, if you don't do this, you will gain weight. You have made yourself gain weight. Okay? If you tell yourself that you're able to eat in a way that is going to support a healthy weight for you, and it's going to allow you to lose the body fat you want, then you will. Your brain, your words are powerful. So watch what you say, because what you say, you will bring about. So we have to watch those subconscious thoughts, so that mind chatter that's happening. Because if you focus on what's not working, you'll keep seeing it happening and you'll be stuck in that cycle. So today I really want to help you break that off and really help you avoid that mistake of not having a plan in place with your food. And I will say this, food, it's fuel. So if you find yourself mindlessly eating, emotionally eating, if we take the emotion out of it and realize what is food, it's fuel. When you eat, you're either fueling your body for activity you're going to do, or you're repairing it from activity you've already done. Fueling, repairing, and that's it. So when we let go of the emotional attachment, it makes it so much easier to eat to fuel or eat to repair. And one thing I have my clients do is before they start eating, if they're having the cravings, they're looking to try to go get something that's not very nutritionally dense, right? That's going to support them. I have them ask themselves, is this going to hinder me or help me? Right? Is this going to hinder me or is this going to help me? And learning how to eat in a way that's going to fuel your body and get you the results that you're after, it takes time. It takes time, right? We've already learned these habits of how we've been eating for maybe years or decades, right? And so it's going to take some time to reprogram the brain to focus on the types of foods that are going to actually fuel us and get us the fat loss and the body composition that we're after, okay? So when it comes to strength training, like we talked about just 10 minutes a day, right? You can do that. And when it comes to your nutrition, right? And I know it's like, oh, meal prep and this and that. Guess what? There are companies who do all the meal prep for you and have it delivered right to your door. You can pick a couple hours on a weekend and prep things so it's ready to go for out the week. You can have your kids help you chop up some veggies and have them ready to go. You can make a double batch of whatever so you have leftovers during the week. There are so many ways to prepare and have things ready to go that are easy to grab and go, or to reheat, or to have leftovers. So you're not spending every night in the kitchen cooking if you don't want to, right? And the biggest thing here is keep it simple. If you don't want to make a gourmet meal, don't make a gourmet meal, right? Like you don't have to. I had to let go of that guilt thinking I had to have this perfectly laid out meal every time for me and the kids. No, we focus on protein and veggies, because those are the two key things that we need for our body to have the vitamins, the minerals, and nutrition needed to really thrive. And then all the other stuff is easy to get in. That's why protein and veggies is the main focus. And that's what we're going to talk about here. So when you are after weight loss, which really is fat loss we're after, right? It's having some key components and really understanding macronutrients, right? Our food is broken down into three categories: protein, carbs, and fats. That's it. So every food you eat, whether it's whole food or processed, falls into those three categories. Okay. Now some of them might have some of each of them or whatnot. We're not going to go into depth in that. We do that inside of my coaching programs, but this is really about a surface level. Your food breaks down into fats, carbs, and protein. Okay. And your body needs all three to thrive, right? So when we're looking to fuel our body and really having a plan in place, we need to make sure that we're eating these three macronutrients. We want to emphasize on having a protein-centric meal at plate at every meal, right? Aiming for 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal if you're only doing 3 meals. Okay, if you're doing 4 or 5 meals, you can break that down to 25 to 30 grams per meal, because you want protein to be the center. And then you want to have veggies. More fibrous, rich vegetables are going to have more vitamins, minerals. It's not going to spike your blood sugar, right? And it's going to help keep you fuller longer, okay? And I had someone ask a question about, what food do I give up? You do not need to give up any food. You might choose to eat certain foods like processed and refined foods, fried foods, alcohol, candy, chips, things that are processed, and have them in moderation, meaning they're not your daily intake, because it's not going to fuel you. It's going to hinder you long-term and short-term, right? You're going to get inflammation. You're going to get bloating, brain fog. No one wants those, right? We want to be at our full capacity and fully enjoy life and be thriving. We can't do that if we're taking in foods that are going to harm us and hinder us on a regular basis. Having them every once in a while, sure, right? Because you're focused on fueling your body with good, nutrient-dense, wholesome food. So every once in a while, that 10, 20% of the time when you are having some of these things, it's not going to have a big impact because you have so much good happening within the body. Make sense? So you don't have to give up any food unless that food is really harming you. Meaning, if you're constantly thinking about it, you're always craving it, you overindulge in it, and it makes you feel like crap, give it up, right? Do you want to feel like crap? No. So keep it out of the house. Don't have it in your eyesight so you don't crave it. And eventually your mind will forget about it and you will not crave it anymore. Okay. Out of sight, out of mind. Another question that came up was, is it, you really have to be at 1,200 calories to lose? No, that was in diet culture for decades. And that is not true. Because guess what? If everybody was at 1,200 calories, how was that going to work? Because not every body is the same. Our genetic makeup, what our dietary needs are, our energy level. Like, no, it's not ever one set amount of calories. We each have a individual calorie consumption that we need just to maintain and to survive. Okay. And so we need to be eating at least what our basal metabolic rate. And that's basically how much energy that your body needs just to survive. Right? We need at least that bare minimum just to survive. Right? And then we have where we eat up to our maintenance, meaning we're maintaining exactly where we're at when it comes to body weight. Right? And so if we go below what our maintenance is by a few hundred calories over the course of 7 days, you're going to see your weight drop 1, 2, 3+ pounds. A lot of the times at the beginning, you're going to see inflammation and water retention go first. That's really what's leaving first. And then body fat will start. And it's important when you're after weight loss, we need to prioritize protein, right? We do not want to lose lean muscle tissue. What happens is, if we're not taking in enough protein, our body is going to go into our muscle, right? And use that protein. We don't want that. We don't want our body to become catabolic. Protein is important, right? And if we're not taking in enough carbohydrate energy, things, fruit, vegetables, beans, legumes, whole grains, if we don't take in enough carbohydrate energy, our body will also go and use our muscle, break it down, and turn that into energy. We don't want that. Can you see why we need all of our macros? Fat does not make you fat. Fat is an essential macronutrient needed for your brain health, organ support, and it also assists in other breakdown of nutrients in the body like fiber. We need all of it, right? Now, when it comes to losing body fat, when weight loss, we are not going to be consuming as much of our fat macronutrient just because it's twice as dense. So it has 9 calories per 1 gram of fat versus protein and carbohydrates having 4 calories, per gram, right? So fats are twice as calorically dense as a carbohydrate or fat. So I use fats as a filler. Meaning I will add in them, but my main focus is my protein and my carbohydrates. And this allows you to maintain a more lean physique, right? So protein is really for focusing on lean muscle growth, repair. Helps you feel fuller, longer. It's also the most thermogenic of all of the macronutrients, which means your body uses more energy to break it down and process it. So you burn more when you eat protein. Hey, right? So it's best of both worlds. Our carbohydrates are our body's fuel source. That's how we get energy to move. Your body needs carbohydrates. So we think of whole foods. Again, the fruits, the vegetables, the beans, legumes, the rice, the whole grains. Obviously, breads, pastas, those are processed carbohydrates. We're going to focus more on the whole food carbohydrates. I do have a handout, if you guys want, that really breaks down each of these macronutrients and shows you foods in each of these categories. If you want to have that, just drop macro handout, and I will send that over to you guys. So it really gives you that visual, if you're a visual person like I am, to really break that down. And then we have fats. Like I mentioned, fats are going to help with breaking down fiber in your body. It's going to help with organ support, brain health. So fats are very important. We need them. Healthy fats, right? Nuts, seeds, high quality oils, dark chocolate, avocados, nut butters. Again, raw nut butters are going to be your best friend, right? Versus things that have the processed ones, more processed with sugar and stuff added. So getting the raw and natural is the way to go. So what do we do with all this? How do we create a plan, a strategy for nutrition? Okay, step 1 is you need to focus on one macro at a time. So if you really are like, how much protein am I actually getting in? Like, am I getting enough protein? I don't know. So the rule of thumb is about 0.8 grams to 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's your goal. So say that's 150 grams of protein. You can then take that and divide that by 20 Okay. So, and that kind of gives you how many servings you need, right? Another way you can do that is take the 150 grams, divide that amount over your meals, how many meals you typically have, if it's 3 or 5. And that includes your snacks, guys. And then you decide that tells you how many grams you want to shoot for per meal or snack, right? So you get that amount in. Simple way to do this, you can go grab the app that I have my clients use. That is amazing. It's free. It's easy to use. It's called Macros First. It's a little blue icon. It's amazing. Tracks your macros for you. You can kind of see, put your food in, really see where you're at percentage-wise and how many grams you're getting, so you know how you need to increase. So protein-centric meals. Next, vegetables. 3 to 5 servings of veggies a day. Eat the rainbow. Okay, if you tend to flock to one color only, get a little adventurous. Add a few different colors in. Get those tricolor carrots, right? There's like 3 or 4 different colors in there. Perfect. Grab that, right? Greens are great because they are definitely help in regards to lowering cancer markers. They're more fibrous. And you're going to eat a lot more of them. It's like a volume food that you eat a lot of without any real caloric impact. Okay. So the higher in fiber it is, the lower in the carbohydrate and quote unquote sugar, natural sugars that's in there. So you can have more of it. And I call them free foods, right? Because they really don't have, you have to eat so much of them to even accumulate one serving of carbohydrates. So they're great to have as a filler. So focus on one macro at a time. See where you're not really getting many and how are you doing with your protein? How are you doing with your veggies? How are we doing with our healthy fats? Right? Now, when it comes to fats, like I mentioned, you do want to be mindful of how much you're taking in, how many nuts you're putting in, how many times you're having it a day, and really use that macro first calculator to kind of see where you're at. Take 3 days and plug all your food in and your drinks and plug it in and see where you're at. Okay. And then you know where you can adjust and focus on one at a time. I know we want to get everything done at once, but guess what? That's how we burn out. Right? So focus on one macro at a time. Practice and increase slowly your how many grams you're getting per meal. You don't want to do it all at once. Slow and steady wins the race and allows your body to adapt and not have a whole bunch of digestive stuff going on. Okay. Second thing is get that app downloaded so you can really see where you're at. And then if you want to be able to track a little bit more with your protein, your veggies, and your fats, I have a habit tracker that my clients use. If you like access to that as well, drop habit tracker below and I'm happy to send that over to you, as well as that macro handout to really kind of see visually these different foods in these 3 categories to really help you out. So having a plan in place for your food is so important when you're after a specific result, right? I still, to this day, protein and veggies tend to be my weak spots at times. And so I usually always make a whole food smoothie where I have at least 3 servings of veggies in there and a big scoop of quality protein. That really helps. If you need some recommendations for protein powders, let me know. I have an amazing company that I go through and use, and she's phenomenal. And she has other products out there that I highly recommend because of the level of quality of her products. So let me know. You can definitely send me a DM on that, and I'm happy to share the resources there with you. So we saw yesterday, again, specific plan in place that is geared towards fat loss and building that strong foundation in your fitness. Now, when it comes to nutrition, again, we want to have a plan in place. I don't believe in meal plans. That's not who I am. I'm not your girl to come to if you want a specific meal plan. I don't do that. I love recipes. I love sharing recipes that are macro friendly, meaning they have all 3 macronutrients. Because I believe in resources. I believe in giving people options. But I do not believe you have to follow a specific plan in order to lose weight. You don't. I teach women how to eat to fuel their body. I teach them how to eat to lose weight and maintain. I teach them how to eat to have a thriving body and mindset, right? And I want you to have the awareness of how to eat to feel amazing, right? And you're not going to learn that by following a meal plan. So I definitely want to teach you about macronutrients, how to plate your food, having you listen to your body and be like, oh, I really felt like crap after eating that, or oh, I'm so bloated. Oh, what did I eat? And having that recognition and awareness of how certain foods affect you so you can either eliminate or reduce them, right? Or find an alternative that works better for you. So short-term tracking, long-term results. I do not believe in long-term tracking. If you love to track, awesome, you keep on doing it. But I do not believe you need to do that in order to have the results that you're after. Short-term tracking for long-term results, because you're going to build that habit. You're going to have the awareness and know no matter where you're at, whether it's Christmas, a birthday party, a wedding, it doesn't matter. You know exactly how to plate your food, or what food you want on your plate to fuel your body the right way and get the results you're after. So let me know what your biggest takeaway was. I'd love you to share it on social, tag me in it so I can see. Tomorrow we have our last mistake I want to point out and want to share with you so I can help you avoid it or course correct if you are in that area. So it's really about this number one mindset block that most women are stuck in, right? And it keeps that frustrating cycle of gaining and losing the same amount of weight over and over again. So we're going to bust through that. We're going to give you some tangible steps to start taking action on. So definitely join me tomorrow. And if you have questions, if you want the habit tracker, or if you want the macro guide, definitely drop that in the comments. Let me know, tag me, and I will get that over to you via DM. And yeah, I would love to hear, what is your biggest takeaway? What are you going to focus on? And are you going to download that app and start tracking your food and kind of see where you're at with your macronutrients? So I would love to hear where you're at, and if you're committed to getting that focus in so you can start practicing building a habit and strategy around your nutrition so you get the weight off and keep it off. So thanks for joining me today, my friends, and I will see you all back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock.